Welcome back to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here with us today because we are tackling one of the most critical, yet somehow most frequently misunderstood sections of the entire Cambridge AS and A-Level IT syllabus. Today, we are putting Module 2.2 for Syllabus 9626 squarely under the microscope. We're talking system software, device drivers, operating systems, and utilities. But listen, we aren't just going to read facts off a page. Oh no. Today, we are adopting what I like to call the MasterChef Computer Science exam strategy. Think of your exam as a high-stakes kitchen. Your raw evidence and facts, those are your ingredients. The analysis you perform, that's the cooking process. And your final evaluation, that is the precise plating of the dish before it goes to the judges. Now, to really understand this challenge, I want you to picture two completely different students taking this exact same exam. Let's call them Alex and Sam. Now, Alex is a hard worker. Alex memorizes every single textbook definition, and when an exam question pops up, Alex completely overloads the answer with raw computer science facts. We're talking a massive brain dump of ingredients, but absolutely zero cooking and zero analysis. On the other hand, we have Sam. Sam knows the material, but Sam is always rushing. Sam looks at the clock, panics, and completely misses the specific command word requirements in the question. Sam is basically throwing things on a plate and hoping for the best. Both of these approaches result in papers covered in red pen marks from the examiners. If you want to not just pass, but absolutely dominate this section of the exam, whether you're sitting for the 0417, 0478, 2210, 9618, or our main focus today, 9626, you need a structured, professional approach. And that is exactly the recipe we are going to build together today.
Okay, let's dive right into this, because Module 2.2 isn't just some minor footnote or side dish in your syllabus. It accounts for approximately 15% of the total marks in Paper 2. Think about that for a second. That is a massive chunk of your final grade sitting squarely in a single module. You simply cannot afford to leave these marks up to chance. It's the main course of your exam strategy. We need a system, and we need to understand exactly how the examiners are weighing your responses. If you treat this section like an afterthought, your grade will absolutely reflect that. We need to go from those red pen marks of failure to the green check marks of mastery.
Here is our complete mastery blueprint for today's explainer. First, we'll decode the core cognitive domains, so you know what game you're actually playing. Second, we'll outline the procedural framework. Third, we're going to expose the top 3 fatal mistakes that catch out students like Sam every single year. Fourth, we'll be mastering critical analysis. And finally, we will wrap up with the method mark strategy.
Section 1. Core Cognitive Domains. Let's decode the assessment objectives.
The assessment objectives, you are being graded on target 3 distinct cognitive domains: knowledge and understanding, practical application, and critical analysis. Now, it's not just about memorizing what a device driver is or what an operating system does. If you just do that, you're pulling an Alex. You're just dumping raw ingredients on the table. The syllabus specifically emphasizes that top-performing students must demonstrate a connected, conceptual understanding. What does that mean for you in the heat of the exam? It means you need to be able to take your knowledge of memory management within an operating system or how specific utility software functions and transfer that understanding to completely unfamiliar, highly specific contexts. Before we continue, subscribe to our YouTube channel Ace the Exams at acetheexams_IGCS to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon right now. All right, back to the kitchen. When it comes to hitting these 3 domains perfectly, top students use what is known as the PEAL framework. That stands for point, evidence, explanation, and link. You make your clear point, you drop in your computer science evidence, those are your raw ingredients, then you provide the explanation, which is the analysis or the cooking process, and finally, you link it back to the specific question asked, which is your plating. If you master the PEAL framework, you naturally hit every single one of these cognitive domains.
Notice the stark, unmistakable contrast we're highlighting right now: analytical depth versus superficial breadth. This is the exact difference between a failing paper and a top-tier paper. The academic benchmarks for this syllabus strictly prioritize logical, structured reasoning over merely listing a wide array of basic facts. The examiners don't want a brain dump of 20 loosely related tech terms about operating systems. That superficial breadth is exactly what loses Alex points every time. They want you to take 2 or 3 highly relevant points, apply the PEAL framework, and analyze them deeply. Quality and structure always beat out a superficial scattergun approach. You need to cook the ingredients you have to perfection, rather than just throwing the entire pantry at the examiner.
Section 2. The Procedural Framework. The 5-step execution recipe.
Let's walk through these 5 steps sequentially, because this right here is your ultimate cooking method. This is how you build professional IT skills on paper, step by step. Step 1. Deconstruct the question. This is where you decode the command words. Are they asking you to describe, explain, or evaluate?
Before you write a single word, you have to know what they are actually asking, otherwise you're rushing in like Sam and completely missing the mark. Step 2. Extract relevant data from the scenario provided. Step 3. Select your analytical framework, whether you're comparing two operating systems or evaluating a specific utility driver. Step 4. Execute your analysis with clear, precise notation, heavily utilizing that Peel method we talked about earlier. And Step 5. Present your findings in the appropriate format using correct terminology. It sounds a little rigid, right? But this systematic processing is exactly what ensures you hit every single criteria on the examiner's rubric. It turns those dreaded red pen marks into beautiful green check marks, transforming your answer from a chaotic mess into a master chef-level response.
Section 3. Top 3 fatal mistakes. Warning straight from the examiner reports.
Let's get real for a second and look at the absolute worst pitfalls, the traps that catch thousands of students every year. Mistake number 1, forgetting to include the proper format in your Module 2.2 questions. Mistake number 2 is a variation of the first, failing to double-check that format and presentation before moving on to the next question. But mistake number 3? Oh, this is the absolute killer. Mistake number 3 is writing answers that are not specific to the given context. Let's think back to our student, Alex. Alice can write a technically flawless, totally comprehensive essay explaining disk defragmentation or system restore utilities. But because Alex doesn't apply it to the specific business or user scenario provided in the prompt, Alex gets 0 points. Nothing. Nada. It is incredibly frustrating to lose points when you actually know the material inside and out, just because of a procedural slip-up. Context is the difference between an amateur cook and a master chef. If you don't tailor the dish to the person eating it, you fail the challenge.
I really want you to burn this crucial question into your memory. Is your answer genuinely specific to the provided context? I urge you to mentally ask yourself this every single time your pen lifts off the paper after writing an answer. If your response about device drivers could be copy-pasted into a completely different exam question and still make total sense, well, it is way too generic. You have fallen into the trap. Context is king. Context is what takes you from a standard grade to absolute mastery.
Stop scrolling. Subscribe to our YouTube channel Ace the Exams at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. We've helped thousands of students improve by 2 to 3 grade boundaries. Join them right now by subscribing to @acetheexams_IGCSE and turn on all notifications so you never miss our weekly exam strategy sessions. All right, let's jump right into Section 4, Mastering Critical Analysis. This is all about elevating your answers to that elite tier.
We are entering the interactive workshop phase of our explainer. I want you to imagine we've just put 60 seconds on the clock. Your challenge is to mentally scan a complex IT scenario and extract the core trend. What's the secret to doing this perfectly under time pressure? It's understanding that there is a massive, fundamental misunderstanding about comparative analysis in computer science. Most students think it's just about pointing out what's different between, say, 2 different utility software options, like backup software versus antivirus software. But true comparative analysis, the kind that gets 100% of the marks, strictly requires a balanced look at both similarities and differences. Furthermore, you must link these points using comparative connectives. We're talking about words like whereas, conversely, or similarly. These words are the secret sauce that binds your ingredients together. They allow you to draw well-reasoned, highly sophisticated conclusions about their relative importance, all backed by solid evidence from the prompt. If you just list differences, you haven't cooked anything. You've just laid out raw facts side by side.
Let's keep this workshop energy high. Imagine you have just 30 seconds to find the fatal flaw in a sample paragraph. The flaw is almost always found in how a student handles the evaluation metric. When the examiner's command word asks for an evaluation of evidence quality, here is your absolute non-negotiable playbook. This is the plating phase of our Master Chef strategy. First, you need to identify the limitations. Where exactly does the evidence stop being useful in this specific scenario? Next, you need to spot assumptions. What underlying unproven premises exist in the system software setup? Third, you must offer alternate interpretations of the data. Could that network latency be caused by something other than the operating system's memory management? And finally, you must assess the effect on conclusions. How do those limitations and assumptions actually impact your final decision regarding the software in question? This sequence right here is how you demonstrate true evaluative depth. It is how you show the examiner that you aren't just reciting facts, but you are actively thinking like a professional computer scientist.
Section 5, the method marks strategy. This is your ultimate examination safety net. The method mark strategy is a game changer.
This refers to marks that are specifically awarded for demonstrating the correct systematic process and clear working, completely regardless of whether your final answer is 100% accurate. I really want you to think about that paradigm shift for a moment. The process of logical, structured reasoning, the actual cooking process, is valued just as highly as the final output. If you apply the Peel framework and you systematically deconstruct the command words, you are earning method marks every step of the way. Even if you completely botch the final conclusion, the examiner rewards you for the structured logic you showed to get there.
I want to read this direct examiner alert verbatim with all the dramatic emphasis it truly deserves. Listen closely. Students lose marks by not showing working. Even if your final answer is wrong, method marks can save you. Showing your work is not busy work, folks. It is not some annoying chore your teacher makes you do. It is a strictly defined, highly strategic safety net. If you execute the procedural framework we discussed earlier, you are actively catching method marks every single step of the way, even if you make a calculation or logical error right at the very end of your paper. Time management is crucial here. If you rush like Sam, you skip the steps, you don't show the working, and you leave those easy method marks sitting right there on the table.
Let's bring it all together into one unified system. Mastering Module 2.2 system software is not about blind brute force memorization. Mastery equals connected principles, plus systematic execution, plus evaluative depth. You absolutely need the foundational knowledge of operating systems and utilities. Those are your ingredients. But you also need the 5-step procedural recipe to apply it specifically to the given context. And finally, you need the analytical rigor to evaluate your findings and plate the dish perfectly, while capturing every single method mark available through incredible time management. Command word decoding, the Peel framework application, and a solid time management matrix. Those are the 3 rules that guarantee top marks.
Students who implement these computer science strategies see an average improvement of 2 grade boundaries, but only if they practice consistently with our weekly videos. Here's your final reminder. Subscribe to our YouTube channel Ace the Exams at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Subscribe right now to @acetheexams_IGCSE and click that bell. Don't let another exam pass you by. Which leaves us with one final, very provocative question to ponder before your next paper. Will you leave your method marks on the table in your next exam? Or will you apply this insider's playbook to secure every single point you rightfully deserve? The entire strategy, the complete recipe, is right in front of you. Now it's just about going into that kitchen and executing. Drop a comment below with your target grade for computer science and the biggest challenge you're facing. Our team responds to every comment. Like and share this video with a study partner. Ace the Exams. Your Cambridge success starts here. Keep seeking that analytical depth, and we'll see you next time.